Now, I've been kind of right-leaning most of my life. I was actually kind of Democrat when I was a kid because I liked some of the philosophies of the Democratic Party. But one of the things that the Democrats are always going on about how all Republicans are all warmongers. And then I decided to do my own research, which very few people do, and I found out the four major wars that we've been in at that time, a Democrat was in office. World War I, World War II, Vietnam, Korea, Democrats were in office during the start of them. So, and then later on I found out a lot of the things the Democrats say are not the truth. They talk about minorities and helping minorities and the little guy and the environment and women. But if you look at the end of the day, what do they do for minorities and women and the environment? Lots of talk, lots of talk, and that's about it. And Republicans have actually done more for minorities and women and the environment than the Democrats have. The Democrats are in it for power. Everything about the Democratic Party is deception and deviousness. Just the fact that they call themselves Democrats and democracies is a lie. It's what it is it's a despotism. Despotism is a ruling class that is above the law. Okay, and oligarchy. Okay, they're despot oligarchy. Oligarchy are like a ruling family, and it's the people that run the Democratic Party. It's the same, always the same people that are controlling it from behind the scenes. And so it's not really democracy. Democracy is a sham. Now, what they call socialism is democracy. Like the Scandinavian countries, they all claim that they're socialism, and they want to push socialism. Socialism always fails because the problem with socialism is it gives too much power to the government. And sooner or later, usually sooner rather than later, a psychopath takes over. Okay, and he uses all that power for me for himself and his friends. Anybody who does him a favor, he'll do them a favor. And people end up being abused, and psychopaths enjoy abusing people, unfortunately. And so that's what happens in every single case of every single socialist country. And that doesn't happen in Scandinavia because Scandinavia is not socialism. They don't like being called socialists. It's the Democrats call them. It's more the deception, more the lies. Scandinavia is actually democracies. They've always been real democracy. I mean, just a few years ago, Iceland had a special election midterm and got rid of all their leaders. You can't do that in virtually any other country. That's real democracy. Scandinavian countries were always democracies. That's why everything runs so much better, because democracy is better. It's better than republic. This is actually a republic. The Democrats love to call this a democracy. It's just more of their scam, more of their con. It's all lies. And if you look at what's going on right now, it's absolutely disgusting. I was kind of centralist when Donald Trump was in office. I was really turned off by Bush and Cheney. I've been absolutely disgusted with the Democrats. Democrats. Ever since Donald Trump's been elected, I mean, their behavior has been just absolutely disgusting and despicable. Now, there's things about Trump that I don't like, okay, but he is the duly elected president of the United States. You can't just throw him out because you're pouting because your lunatic candidate didn't win. And Hillary Clinton, even if you want to dismiss her extensive criminal background, and if you don't know anything about that, there's a video called the Clinton Chronicles. It's been redone several times because she keeps adding more crimes that both of them do. Even if you want to ignore her extensive criminal psychopathic background, she wasn't fit to be president. She was sitting there passing out and getting Google eyes and all kinds of weird crap. I mean, she couldn't even handle the campaign. What do you think she'd be doing now with this coronavirus? She would have a nervous breakdown. She'd probably have to be removed from office and her vice president take over. But, looking at these Democrats waving dildos in people's face, screaming obscenities at people, families with children, taking their children to see a Trump convention and stuff. I mean, their behavior has been just despicable. The thing with Kavanaugh, okay? And it's always the double standards with the Democrats. Always the double standards with them. The Republicans ran an investigation, but in the end, they found nothing. Several women admitted they were lying about this. There's no evidence that proved that this guy had done anything from 30 years before. Bill Clinton, on the other hand, was accused of rape, and it wasn't from 30 years before, and it was multiple women, and there was good evidence of it. And the Democrats just said, oh, this is just a ploy of the Republicans. Refused to look at it, refused to investigate it, yet they demanded, and they did this. The first time was with Clarence Thomas, because it goes against, they hated that the Republicans ran the first black Supreme Court justice, because that goes against their whole claim to fame that they're for the minorities. So they wanted to get rid of him at all costs. So they tried to frame him with the same scam, doing the same thing. You know, and it's always the double standards with the Democrats. The Democrats. And the truth is, there are these satanic, Masonic despots in the Republican Party. There's people that have done exposés on, like, Bohemian Grove. Bohemian Grove is Republican. Okay, but the Democrats have their own versions of that, like the pedophile island, you know, the Clintons, and, you know, and all these have been involved with it. They're the same scum. They're satanic. They belong to secret satanic societies operating through Masonry, Freemasonry at the low levels. They claim that they're a benevolent organization, and they kind of are at low levels. There's secret circles within the Masons, that because there's lots of different secret societies, most of which most people have never even heard of, that they start getting involved with at higher levels, like Skull and Bones, which actually has its connections to the pirates. And these people are very sadistic. They're satanic. They worship Satan secretly. Some of them may not openly acknowledge that. Some of them may think they're in league with evil aliens or whatever. Whether you want to believe in that, and I'm not going to get into too much of that sci-fi kind of angle in this video. It's hard enough to convince people just what I'm saying is true without getting into that angle. And there is truth in that. Okay. There's mind control programs and other things. And almost all these satanic Masonic families are getting involved in certain levels of mind control and Satanism. And it's hard to talk about that with average people, because you got to put out a lot of evidence to start backing up what you got to say. And to do that, I have to put up several videos and document everything. And the censorship on YouTube has gotten to be so extreme now. It's becoming impossible to say anything. I just had a video shut down just a little while. I've had 2 shut down so far. One was trying to tell the truth about World War II. Yeah, 80% of that, 90% of everything you've been told about Adolf Hitler and World War II is complete bullshit. Okay, what it is you notice anybody who doesn't play ball with a satanic secret mafia, okay, is demonized. And that includes Castro, Idi Amin, Gaddafi, and Mao Zedong. Well, not Mao Zedong. Mao Zedong was... The problem with the communists is they actually invented the satanic mafia, invented communism. But the problem is that this communism, they end up getting too much power themselves and went rogue from the satanic mafia. So now they hate communism. And they don't want communism because it wasn't playing ball with them anymore. And Stalin, he started out being one of their boys, one of their players, but he went rogue. He started realizing these people were actually doing more harm to Russia and its people, and he started killing them. Eventually they got him, but not until after he got a lot of them. And one of the reasons Russia is actually more free now than the United States is, in many ways, is because Stalin did purge a lot of these satanic secret mafia from Russia. That's the other angle. If you look at what's going on right now, it's just absolutely disgusting. I mean, these Democrats are doing everything in their power to destroy this country. They're allowing illegals, criminals, to pour into this country, and they're giving them a green light. All this protest stuff going on is a green light. Now, the problem with this thing with George Floyd, first of all, the cops are part of this despotism. They're above the law. And this is part of this Masonic thing that set our entire criminal injustice system was set up by this Masonic secret mafia. And they are despots. They're above the law. And they want the police to be basically above the law. You notice it's always the courts and judges and lawyers that come to the aid of these bad cops when they commit horrific crimes against innocent people. Being said, this George Floyd was a thug, and they're making him out, and it's Democrats primarily, they're making him out to be like he's the second coming of Jesus Christ, like he's some kind of a saint, a martyr. He was a thug. He didn't deserve to die. I mean, that cop that did that was obviously a sadist. You could tell he was getting like probably a sexual rush out of, grinding his knee into his foot and into his neck and back. And I said in another video, cops do this. American cops love to do this knee grinding thing. I mean, there's decent cops that have a conscience, but cops that don't have a conscience, they know they can basically get away with rape, murder, theft, whatever they want to do, because it's a despotism. And so that's part of the issue. But now they're giving the green light to all these protesters that are burning and looting, and it's innocent people, including black businesses that are being looted and burned. It's just chaos, and they're encouraging it. The Democrats are encouraging, just like these lockdowns. They're unconstitutional, they're illegal, and they're using this virus as an excuse. Now, there is evidence that this virus was engineered in a lab, not in China, but in the United States. Many of you aren't going to believe that, and I can't prove that. And if I start proving it, they're just going to shut the videos down, like they've done with people who have documented that. So I'm not going to get into proving it right now. But this whole thing is an engineered crisis. From the beginning, they're locking down where they shouldn't be locking down, like school-age kids. Very few school-age kids die from this. Extremely low. In the meantime, they're shutting down all schools, completely disrupt their education. Millions of people can't work because all the daycares, everything, take care of children, they have to stay home and take care of their kids. And a lot of these people are going to be absolutely destitute. They're already probably becoming destitute. And it's just, they're just turning everything upside down. They're destroying everything. And they claim they're doing it for your protection, which is absolute BS. Because, then they're doing everything they can to kill as many people while they're claiming they lock down the stuff they shouldn't. You can't go for a walk in the park or whatever. How are you going to spread this going for a walk in the park? And shutting down the schools, which isn't going to kill anybody. But just disrupt. And then millions of people, or probably thousands at least, are going to die because nobody can go get checkups. No one can get cancer screening or heart screening because they shut all that down. And they've been exaggerating from the beginning how many people are dying of this, how many people are going to die. And they've been lying about it. Everything about this coronavirus has been nothing but lies and deception from the get-go. And then they're, like Como is under fire, but most of the Democrats are doing this, a lot of them, letting COVID patients go to the nursing homes with no quarantine or nothing. I mean, the people that do die from this are elderly, and so they're doing everything they can to kill as many elderly people as possible. And like I said, they're wide open where people are most vulnerable and locking down places where people aren't vulnerable, which is just disrupting all of society. And one of the reasons why you have all those protests going is everything's locked down. People are getting upset, and they're doing instill fear. They're just all this fear, just to try to get everybody wild, crazy, and upset. And it's just chaos. It's like these people want to destroy society.